Assalamualaikum. Very good day to all of you. So we will continue our lecture on cooling tower. So I believe that before the MCO period, I've been invite you guys to the chiller plant room, and I also have been lecture on the cooling tower component, cooling tower type, and others. So now I would like to talk about the cooling tower maintenance. So before we proceed, I just go through very fast on the cooling tower. So what is cooling tower? Cooling tower actually is where the component that reject the heat from the chiller. So basically this is the cooling tower, and then this is the chiller. So we have one pipe that connect to the condenser, and we reject the heat at the cooling tower. Okay, so just go through on the components. You can go, I will upload also all the slide regarding the cooling tower. So this is all the components, the function, and the type of the cooling tower. We have the counter flow induced draft, cross flow induced draft, counter flow forced draft, and natural draft. So you can go through afterwards. So we have also the field advantage. So before we proceed, I will I would like to introduce on the installation of the cooling tower. So as we know, the cooling tower will be installed at outer post, so outdoor location. So the position and the location are very important to make sure the efficiency of our cooling tower. So we have to make sure there is no obstruction, no obstacle on the airflow of the cooling tower, and so the water intake and the discharge of water in the cooling tower also must be properly installed. So it will make sure if there is no obstacle or no obstruction on our cooling tower will be working effectively in removing the heat. So our cooling tower fan usually will be installed with 2 or 3 speed motor. So it is quite common and standard use in the industry. So the motor type is rotor with permanent magnets, and we calculate the revolution or the rotation of the motor using RPM, revolution per minute, and it is in direct drive, and it also fitted with an axial fan to remove the heat. So previously, an old cooling tower, usually they will install the cooling tower motor and fan separately as the figure. So the motor will be located in outside of the cooling tower, and it will connected by a rotor here to the fan. So now we have quite new design of cooling tower fan. It is normally applied in industry now, which is the motor and the fans at one location at once. So it is called direct drive. So this is the conventional tower design. So we have the motor outside of the cooling tower, and then the gearbox here and the fan is here. But now we eliminate the the different uh, the different location of the motor and fan, and then we just put in one location, which is the direct drive, which motor and the shaft directly to the fan. It is installed inside the cooling tower, so we eliminate it because the high maintenance of the components. So in this slide, it refers to the installation of new cooling tower. As you can see, the cooling tower and the fan is installed separately. So we put the body of the cooling tower first, and then before we proceed to fix all the bodies together, we have to use crane to put the fan. So this is the case for a big cooling tower, so the fan is quite big. So if it is just a small cooling tower, maybe just small crane should be enough to uplift the fan. Before we begin with the installation of cooling tower, there are several things that we need to look into. For example, the location of the selection of our cooling tower, where we want to install it. For example, the first criteria we need to have is the area with good air circulation. So air circulation is quite important to make sure our cooling tower can remove the heat in their optimum performance. So the good ventilation, for example, if we located it in the rooftop, so it have a very good air surrounding and good ventilation, so we can remove our heat quickly and from the condenser. So the next one we have to look into is our cooling tower must be not close to the building. So usually they will put a cooling tower at the rooftop because it is not close to the building window, for example. So if the location of the cooling tower and the building windows, doors is near, it will uh, um, give a bad impression there, for example. So not clean because usually cooling tower they have a very high humidity, so usually more fungi will easy to growth in a very humid and wet location. So it is important to make sure the rejection of heat and the fan is not near to the building. So we have to consider also the location of cooling tower is easy access for the maintenance work. So we have to make sure the maintenance or the workers can go directly to the cooling tower. There are access and easy access to do the maintenance work. So for the installation, we have to make sure that we have a very strong and stable base, because the cooling tower usually they have a very big fan. We have a motor and rotor to circulate our fan. So we have to make sure we have a very strong and stable base, because there are quite high of vibration at the cooling tower. So it will influence the crack to the cement if we doesn't have any strong and stable base there. And we have you must make sure that we install the cooling tower vertical way and not in horizontal way, because if in horizontal I've never seen cooling tower is installed in horizontal, because usually we want to reject the heat high to the air. So it also have to near to water source, because the loss of the cooling tower of rejection, the vaporized water. So that's why we have to get also backup water tank to cover the air. So that's why we have to near to water source. We also have to make sure that the hot vapor is not coming back to the tower or building. So that's why I said previously that we have to make sure the cooling tower is not installed near to the window or door that can enter our building. So for example, if we have two tower, usually in cooling rooftop we have many more than two towers. So we have to make sure from one tower to another tower we have at least 2 meters away of the location. So, and the next one we should install the cooling tower at the rooftop or far away from the building to avoid noise, because the noise from the fan and the motor of the cooling tower is quite, and the droplet of the water will make some noise, and maybe it will destroy the occupants of the building.